The arrival of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih in a country means a new chapter, a rebirth and a revolution for the local Ahmadiyya community in spirit, development and progress. Time and time we have witnessed this happening, where not just the community itself, but the whole country celebrates and benefits from the prayers and wisdom of the Khalifa. The head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, Khalifatul Masih V, may Allah be his helper, comes to the Netherlands, bringing more examples of the recognition of the truth of the promised Messiah ﷺ, and the continued progress of the Islam brought by Hazrat Muhammad ﷺ. In the next hour, we bring you only just a few highlights from the first week of Hazur's visit to the Netherlands.
I think it's extremely important, your message, your visit, that the Dutch people understand that Muslim is not only something they have to be anxious about. That also on the Muslim side are people who are in favor of human rights and democracy, yes, and free speech. So I think you're
what do you think
welcome.
Is in the Netherlands there is no Islamophobia, or not to that extent, which is actually we can see in other parts of the Western world? Here, what about this?
It is latent in this society. Whenever there is tension, like in France, following the Charlie Hebdo incidents, murders, other incidents happening in the world, then we feel the tension in this country as well. So we don't know where things might lead to in the future, but there is tension and there is Islamophobia also in this country.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Yes, that is.
And if they don't hear something positive from time to time, it may get worse.
So you give us time to speak about on this issue time to time, so that people will get to know that what is the true teaching of Islam.
That is why we invited you to Parliament in the first place. Absolutely, yes.
And I think our Parliament did a very good job on this. Yes.
I agree. Thank you very much.
I started out as a diplomat, so I'm very interested in international affairs, and I'm very worried about what's going on in the Muslim world. And I think the Ahmadiyya, they have a new vision on the road to peace, which includes human rights, free speech, democracy. And I think it's very important that we in the West, we know about that, because otherwise we think all the Muslims are the same. And it's important, I think, that we pay attention to the positive elements in that religion.
Well, I was a member of the PVV, my former boss, Geert Wilders. And in that period, I believe that Islam was, what you read in the newspapers, in the media, Islam was intolerant and disrespectful to women and promoting terrorism and all these ridiculous ideas. And I even believed that, because that was the knowledge that I had at that moment. But during a certain amount of time, I was getting doubts. I thought, how is it possible that there are so many Muslims? They can't be all mean people or dangerous people. So I wanted to know more about Islam, and I went to the mosque. I studied Islam. I was reading the Quran. I was reading about the life of the Prophet, peace be upon him. And during this period of getting knowledge, it became clear to me that I was wrong, that I was mistaken, that Islam actually is a very wise and very peaceful and very beautiful religion. And finally, I became a Muslim about 2.5 years ago. His Holiness' words were very inspiring and very wise. I was curious to come here, and I'm touched by his words and by his wisdom and his call for mutual understanding, and also his message that Islam is a peaceful and wise religion, and also that he was trying to explain that there are a lot of misconceptions about Islam, and that was a positive message.
I think it is important right now, while we are having the debate in this country on the freedom of speech, at the same time we are discussing the situation in the Middle East. It is important to have a Muslim leader talking about interreligious harmony, about peace, and about the freedom of religion. Those three aspects are at the core of the debate in the Netherlands, and it's good to have a Muslim leader talking about these subjects in this country right now.
Part of the press coverage on Huzour's visit, Ruben van der Schier interviewed His Holiness for a major regional TV network, Omroep Gelderland. In the interview, Huzour explained the role of international governments in the current immigration crisis and clarification of the true teachings of Islam.
The people think that all what is happening in the world today, this restlessness, extremism, fights, this and that, is all happening because of Muslims or Islam, whereas it is not true. So according to my belief, the true teaching of Islam is quite different from that of what is being shown today or portrayed today by majority of the Muslims, or majority of those people who claim themselves to be the leaders of the Muslim community. Right? So this, but when I reflect on this, my faith rather increases. Why? Because it was foretold by the Prophet of Islam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that the time would come when his ummah, his people, Muslims will go astray. They will leave the true teaching of Islam. And at that time, the reformer of the age will come. And whom he named, he titled Mahdi, the guided one, and the Messiah, as the Messiah came 1,400 years after Moses.
You're the fast growing Muslim organization in the world?
Yes, as an organization, as a community, yes, we are. And if you see, other people may claim that they are fast growing, but they are just confined in their local areas. But our community is an international community, and under one leadership, under one banner, and under one slogan. When we say, we read the kalma, that is to give testimony that God is one and omnipotent and Muhammad is his servant and messenger, then we also say that the message is love for all and hatred for none.
Is that a message that also goes in the Middle East as of now, with the war going on in Syria?
Is this message?
Yes.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Because we cannot have open access to those countries, because majority of the Muslim world do not like us. Why? We are peaceful, peace-loving people. They say we are denying the commandment of jihad, whereas we are not. We say you are misconstruing the true concept of jihad. The true jihad is to reform your inner self. The jihad is to spread the message of love and harmony and peace in the world. And the jihad is wherever you see something wrong, you try to make it right. Right? Reform it. Mm-hmm. This is one type of jihad when you are being targeted, forced to leave your religion, and then you retaliate and fight back to just to the enemies. But here today, in this present world, we do not see any country, any association, any organization waging war on the Muslims with the intent of just finishing Islam. That is not the intention. So, if this is not the intention of the enemies of Islam, even they are using propaganda machinery, media, literature. We should use the same. That is what Islam told us, that you should only retaliate in the manner which, in the way which is, or with those things or weapons which are being used against you. And today, no gun, no arsenal, no cannon is being used, no sword is being used against Islam anywhere in the world. The only thing which is being used by anti-Islamic movements is the propaganda and literature. And we should use that one. That is what was told to us by the founder of the Ahmadiyya community.
The 7th of October marked another historic occasion for the Ahmadiyya community of Netherlands, with the laying of the foundation stone for what will be the second purpose-built mosque of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in the Netherlands, the Beit al-Afiyat Mosque in the town of Almere. With the worsening situation in the Middle East and the influx of thousands of immigrants from war-torn nations every month, anti-Muslim sentiments have been rising across Europe, and with the instructions of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih, mosques are being built as beacons of peace and unity for cohesion within communities, as residents only then learn what true Islam is and who Muslims really are. Hazur was greeted by the mayor's office and laid the foundation stone for the mosque, followed by other community officials and special guests. A reception was held where Hazur assured the neighbors and the local government that this mosque will only be a symbol of peace and that true Islam is not something to be feared, as it may have been portrayed to them through a distorted lens.
We believe God to be the source of all peace and security and to be the protector. And God desires for His creation to inculcate His attributes. Consequently, it is incumbent on a true Muslim to exhibit love and compassion towards all others and to be guardians of the peace of society. Let it be clear, therefore, that this mosque, whose foundation stone is being laid today, will prove to be a glorious symbol of peace, security, and sanctuary for all. Besides physical peace and security, this mosque will also be a means of providing inner peace and spiritual security. Because when a person develops a true connection with Allah, the Almighty, he cannot act or speak in any way that is opposed to goodness and peace. His heart is cleansed of all malice and hatred. And so, again, let me reassure you that this mosque will never threaten the peace of society. It will never be a means of promoting division or enmity. On the contrary, it will serve to unite mankind. It will create a spirit of true brotherhood and love. This mosque will serve as a place of peaceful worship for Ahmadi Muslims, where they will join together to worship the one God. It will be a place where they will seek to spread peace throughout the society. When this mosque is completed, our neighbors and the wider community will see firsthand the true teachings of Islam, and they will neither hear nor see anything other than peace, tolerance, mutual respect, and compassion.
The press coverage of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih continued on a daily basis, with newspapers and other news outlets making features on Hazrat Khalifatul Masih and the Ahmadiyya Muslim community.
So you feel very related to other Muslims, even to those who are persecuting you?
You see, we don't have any vengeance against any person. You see, they are actually ignorant people. They are being misguided by their clerics and leaders. So when they come to know what is the truth, they realize that they were wrong. So, you see, we don't have any enmity in our hearts for anyone. And this is out of love. We are doing preaching task.
So, like I'm Christian myself, and love is one of the main principles of Christianity. Do you feel related to Christians?
Yes, you see, even in the Quran, it says that to Christians, to Jews, to everybody, that tell them that at least we should come and gather together on a common point. And that common point is one omnipotent God, right? So there are so many commonalities among us. So we can join hand together. At least the basic thing is to realize the importance of humanity. As a human being, we should respect each other. We should work together for the betterment of humanity. And then Quran categorically says that the religion is a matter of your heart, your own liking. There's no compulsion in it. So those which are common issues, we should come together, and we have respect for each and every person and every religion. See, this is why we believe in all the religions, in all the prophets.
Yeah, a lot of people in Holland, they are really anxious about the growing number of Muslims in their country, not especially Ahmadiyya Muslims, but more in general. And especially among the refugees who are coming in huge numbers now to Europe. Can you imagine their fear for Islam?
The fear of the local people?
Mm-hmm.
You see, naturally, when they see that how they are behaving in their own countries and what is happening there in their own countries, there's disturbance, there's violence, there's extremism, they are killing each other. So this is the natural reaction. But this should not be attributed to the teaching of Islam. We say that the true teaching of Islam, if you want to know about the true teaching of Islam, you should try to learn from Ahmadis. And, or if possible, now we have translated the Holy Book, Quran, in so many languages with interpretation. You can read yourself and see. There's no, question of fear with regards to the teaching of Islam or the Holy Book.
Yeah. And another point for Christians is Christians are often, there are some Muslims who reject Islam and become Christian, sometimes because of the heavy violence in Iraq, and they don't want to be related to Islam anymore.
To that type of Islam.
Right, yes. So the penalty for those people in all the big legal schools in Islam is always the same.
You see, they say that if a person leaves Islam, he is, is murtad, or, you see, that is the term used there. And because of that, he should be killed. That is what you want to say?
Exactly.
But it is not. In the Holy Quran, there are so many verses which categorically say that if a person accepts Islam, then leaves it, then accept, and then leaves it, then accept, and then leaves it, so just leave him. Don't say anything to him. In the hereafter, God himself will deal with him, with the person. And even it is also written in the Holy Quran that a person who leaves Islam because of the fear of the people, fear of the other people, of his relatives, of his society, so just leave him. Don't worry, because Allah will provide you more people who are very sincere, who are very much faithful, and they will be staunch and strong in their faith. So if had there been a punishment according to the Holy Quran for those who leave Islam, why this has been mentioned in the Holy Quran, that just leave them alone? Because Allah will provide you some more who will not fear the people, who will not fear their society. It means the society is more cruel to them than this Islamic teaching. Had there been any punishment after accepting Islam, they would not have had any fear of their society, rather of leaving Islam.
खिलाफत क्या है एक फजले अजीम रब रहमा है सरासर नूर और रहमत इल्म और हिकमत का गुलिस्ता है खिलाफत क्या है एक फजले अजीम रब रहमा है